I've been dying to try one of these, so I think we should open it.
Okay,
so you told me how to do this.
Yeah.
It's these little flappers here.
There you go.
Okay, amazing. So yeah, I find that, my boyfriend likes to work at a standing desk, but he'll just lean on the desk all day. And I'm like, no offense, but that's not really the point. Yeah. You need to move, so.
Absolutely.
Oh, look, there's a cute little note. Thank you. I'm so excited to see it.
So you got a carrying handle down here that you can
Ali
lift that
just
way.
Showed me. So it's quite heavy. So I already realized you could definitely do some exercises with your Movemate as well. It feels really smooth, but there's a bit of texture too. And texture underfoot is super important because that helps stimulate your nerves. It feels fun even under your hands. It makes me want to see what push-ups would be like on it. I don't know, have you tried push-ups on it yet?
We have.
Yeah, I bet you have. Is it a good idea?
It is a good idea. And then we're going to clip this off.
Yep.
This basically just tells you some of the features of the board.
Yep.
Some of the elements of the design and stuff. And then when you lift it up, it asks you to give your body the freedom that it craves.
I love it. You guys have put a lot of thought into this. It's beautiful packaging. It's a beautiful thing. There's guidance lines so that you stay even on the board. Are you likely to fall over when you get on?
Let me give you the tutorial before you get on.
Yeah.
And I'll actually get on one
please demonstrate.
Simultaneously with you.
Simultaneous movement.
Side by side.
I love it.
So we always suggest starting with a little bit of a wider stance. So you want to put your foot down onto there.
Yep.
And then feel the ground.
Nice and solid.
Get up, and then put your other foot equidistant, using the line to kind of measure that.
Yeah. Ooh, I love the instant massage.
Right?
That's awesome.
Right? So the idea here is we have a few core moves. So you have rocking side to side if you feel the gradient of the board underneath.
Yep.
And then you have rocking front and back. In that motion, you feel the vibration underneath.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can twist.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, I love it.
So you can twist using your arms.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the whole differentiator is that ability to flex.
The waviness. And I really like how that feels under your feet as you do that too. It's like a little pinchy and grippy and massaging.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It gives you just enough tactile stimulus, right?
Yeah. I knew I was going to love this, but wow, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So there's so much to explore. Now, even try and bring your feet a little bit closer in. Try and feel a bit of a little bit narrow. Now feel that. So with every stance that you change, you can do the same moves, but you get a different kind of sensation.
I really want to surf
different
this.
Variety.
So I don't know, but when you turn and surfing, you really can use sort of cardboardy, slidey things.
Right.
I feel like this could be a good surf prep thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so as you keep going in, it gets harder or just different?
So it just gets different. Okay. So the idea in the way that we communicate it's about variety, right? So while your neutral stance may be like a shoulder width or a wider stance, you want to kind of play with the different stances even while you're using it at your standing desk, right? So maybe even bringing your feet closer up and try to just go side to side in that way. Or even sort of bringing it further back and trying to do the same thing. And so it's just about playing with the different movements of the board, but also with the different foot positionings.
Yeah.
So we'll try, let me try a variation with you. So let's come back to a comfortable mid stance here, where your midfoot is kind of at the center line of the board. Exactly. Perfect. So now we're going to just sort of rock to one side, and we're going to just flex the other side while one side is held down.
Hang on. I'm not sure I get it.
So
one side is held down, kind of?
So one side is held down.
Yeah. Oh, and then
and then you're just sort of flexing
I see what you're saying.
And so this is like just an example of combining different moves.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go even in circles. So like let's go with, putting the right toe down.
Right toe down.
And then shifting to the left toe.
Left toe down.
And if you notice, my back is sort of lifted. I go left heel. right heel.
Yeah.
Right? So now this is more of a circular
That's
motion that
nice.
you can get going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about play.
Yeah.
It's about finding different patterns of movement. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, I think you guys have a really great idea here. I love it. I would definitely use one for my standing desk. It's a no-brainer. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Awesome. We can't wait to hear how your experience actually evolves.
Shall report back.
How much do you use your standing desk? Do you find yourself at a desk a lot, or are you moving around much?
I sit on the floor a lot when we have floor sitting capacity. We don't have a standing desk because we're traveling all the time. So it's actually my boyfriend who really needs this the most, but I think if we had only one, I would fight him for it because it's really nice.
And what makes you feel like your boyfriend needs it a lot? Is he complaining about a certain type of problem, or?
No, it's just like, I feel like he should move more. He's one of those people who likes to work for like long chunks of time instead of like, I take a break about every 15 minutes when I'm working specifically as a movement break, and he doesn't do that. So having something like this to give him that kind of active movement rest thing would be really nice for him.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, for sure, I'd love one. And I do like standing to work also.
Yeah.
You know, you could totally do a class with this too. Like, it would be such a fun thing to do a movement class on this.
You're doing something interesting here, which is like, I tend to actually use sort of the gradient to find a bit more of a stretch.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I'll do that a lot at my desk, right?
I'm a big fan of the stretched desks anyway, because it gives you a lot of goodness for your upper body, and it's very desk friendly, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you know, you're reading your email, you're thinking about it, you can just do this.
Yeah.
But it's so nice for your core and your ribcage.
Do you want to try squat?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go down.
Oh yeah.
And now,
you can totally play around. Whoa, hello. That's quite tricky. Right? Oh my gosh.
When I get down here, I usually just go side to side.
Yeah.
Just shifting my body weight to one side or the other.
Yeah.
And then what I like to do is grip the handle here with both your hands.
Yeah. Oh,
and then
get a little stretch that way.
Just get a stretch that way.
I love it.
And then
so good.
You can kind of extend your you can sort of like tilt it slightly, just very carefully, and just get more of an extension.
You can pedal down your heels, which is super nice.
And then now just sort of lift up.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel nice?
It's so good.
Right?
This thing is awesome.
This is my mid work day.
Yeah.
I just get on and I do this weird stuff, and people look at me and they're like, what is this guy doing? But it feels great.
So I'm going to say, I was talking to a friend the other day who was like, you know, I'm getting stiff. I'm like almost 50, my hamstrings, my butt. I'm like, add this to your standing desk. Do a couple of these and stay active all day.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of the times when you're on this at your desk, you're not typically moving super actively.
Yeah.
Right? You might even find yourself sort of in a more stable position, but what it does is it just gives you the opportunity to find movement without sort of leaving your desk.
Yeah.
So if I'm writing an email and I'm, let's say, in a neutral position, and then I shift the window and I'm like watching a video, then I can start sort of playing. And so it just gives you this. There sometimes could be a misconception that, you know, it's like about sort of just doing these hardcore movements and twisting, but it's actually, it just offers you the movement when you need it, as you need it.
Yeah. Well, you know, you probably notice if you just stand like flat on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, and really check in. You're probably going to feel tiny little micro shifts and adjustments in your body as you do that. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. And that's for a really specific reason, because you would get exhausted if you just stayed in one specific spot. So those micro movements are part of how your body maintains your energy systems. So I'm betting you get less tired at the end of the day if you're on this all day. Yeah.
No, and it's an interesting you mentioned that, because one of the main reasons people get this and then love it is they're able to actually use their standing portion of their standing desk more.
Yeah.
Because they find themselves...
There's less aching.
Exactly. They find themselves actually being able to stand longer, you know?
Yeah.
And more frequently, and then the element of play and just fidgetiness helps with that.
Totally.
You know, standing time or upright time, let's say.
Yeah.
I used to feel it a lot when I used to try and stand before I got into Movemate. I used to try and stand, and I would just basically like, you know, lean into one side, the other, and then I would lean over the desk, and eventually I just gave up because it was just so uncomfortable. So I had a standing desk actually, but I didn't use it. And that's the experience of a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, did you know that they basically invented sitting desks because standing desks were so hard on our bodies? So we went from standing to sitting,
Really?
and up, yeah, because nobody really had sitting desks. It wasn't a thing. And so they were like, well, we should sit because it's easier on our bodies. So, the problem isn't standing or sitting. The problem is never moving.
Yeah.
And so if you can add this to your day, it's so seriously good. I really like this one.
Yeah.
That feels great on my foot. Like, it's just such a nice, like, mid-foot mobility feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you compare how it's different or the same from what you expected, having seen this online? Or?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I expected it to feel quite as awesome under my feet. Like, you can see how good it looks like there's movement, but feeling the different pieces underfoot is really obvious and feels good. I think that might be something you almost have to adjust to a little bit because there's quite a lot of stimulation coming there.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I don't think I thought through all the different kind of variations you can do on it either. So it kind of looked a little bit more like it looks like a balance board. Yeah. It looks like a cool balance board.
Right.
So I think if I was going to expect anything, it would have been that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, that's so awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's de-mic ourselves so that I can ask you why you decided to produce it in Canada. That was great. Such a good thing.